everybody.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Well, let's start the insanity.
Well. You know, with time off from teaching during the summer, there's not a lot to do. You have limited amounts of money. You can't just go out and do things all the time, so you get bored. So I've been watching a lot of Hulu, and I've gotten down to I've watched everything, and now I'm watching the HGTV shit, which is okay. I don't care what you guys think. But Property Brothers is one of my favorite shows because I like those guys, and I hope I never see them trending on social media for any kind of illicit things. But I am getting sick, and it's probably because I'm watching these back to back to back to back. But, you know, they always say don't look at people's social media and compare because you'll go crazy because, you know, everyone's always putting their best foot forward. But if I hear one of these freaking couples, it's just one of those, I'm tired of hearing, we got to have room to entertain. Got to have room to entertain. Must have room. Really? How much entertaining are you doing? I hate that they call it entertaining. You're putting on a magic show. You know? They're coming over to watch TV. Are you really entertaining? Are you singing to them? No, you're not. And a lot of these people who harp on that, I bet, don't have any friends in the first place. The Weekly Act starts now. Hello and welcome to the Weekly Act for Thursday, July 12th, 2018. I'm Mac, flying solo again. Still even though it's been a month, you'd think I'd get shit together, but I have not. Still not. Oh my goodness. I just stopped that, didn't I? I meant to fade it out, sorry. I get kind of rusty with the old knobs and switches when I haven't done this in a while. Sorry, I'm still writing show notes so I don't forget because I have an awful memory. I want to make sure because I know if you guys don't get all the insights from me, then, well, you just can't sleep at night, I know. So, yeah, still just me. This is not permanent, obviously, because I'm not that interesting. I have to have somebody to play off of. But it is me today. I hope everyone had a good 4th of July, even though that was over a week ago. But if you're slow on the uptake, maybe you don't realize how long ago it was. I haven't done a show. It's been a month since I've done a show, actually. It was the 15th, I believe, of June. And now we're back. So, yeah, 4th was great. You know, it's funny. It wasn't a complete washout on the 4th here in Texas, in this part of Texas. But it did rain in the afternoon, and it's, you know, Texas is funny. You know, there's all those cliches about the weather. If you don't like the weather, just wait, it'll change. But Texas does one thing well in the summer. Hot. Whoa. Sorry if there's a bunch of sounds. They're renovating the apartment next door, so sorry. It's hot and sunny, right? When we hit June, usually it doesn't rain for 3 months, for 4 months. But if it's a time where you need to do something outside, Texas is like, fuck that. Here's some rain for you. And that's what it did. It was in the afternoon, you know, you know, if you started early on, like about 11, you got enough stuff, you had enough time to do everything, but it did rain. Of course, you know, any other time when you don't want the sunshine and dry, you know, of course you don't get it. The one time you want it. But it wasn't too bad. We went over to my aunt's house She's the rich one. She has the big house. She has the pool. You know, the one everyone mooches off of. You know, as families do. What else? I let's see. I don't know what order. What's the most interesting order I can do all this shit in? I kind of wish Norm was here so I could talk about some of these things with him, but who knows where he is? I don't. Well, I assume he's at his house. So I switched, not for any kind of team. You know, I'm not on one team or the other, but I switched to Android. I got a Samsung Galaxy. Mainly because my iPhone, I've dropped a million times. I haven't broken it, but it's been dropped enough where it's just not working right. It's not connecting to Wi-Fi. It's the date and time when you wake it up. It's just, there's nothing on the lock screen. What the hell is this? I thought maybe it was the air came on. I hope that's not. Hope that doesn't mess up the old sound. I was going to think of a better word for sound, but I didn't think of it. So it was time, and I had an upgrade. I pay extra for the early upgrades, and I didn't have enough money for the iPhone 10, and I didn't really want to get the iPhone. I had a 7 Plus. I didn't want to get the 8 Plus because it was basically the same. I don't know. I just felt like something different, just trying it out. I may go back to iPhone, actually, just because. I mean, I've only had an iPhone. Ever since smartphones came out, I've only had an iPhone. Ever since. I didn't have the original iPhone. I started with the 3G, and then I've had one ever since. And it's not just because of any specific reason. It's just what I've had. It was comfortable. Just like when people don't quit a shitty job, you know, they complain about it, but then they stick with it. But it turns out, there's always wars between Team iPhone and Team Android and everything. But really, I mean, they're both. I mean, this phone is. I mean, it still does everything. It just doesn't just have the Apple, branded thing like the Apple, the iOS. It's just the operating system is different. But I found out that even though I've had it for so long, and maybe I can give myself a break because every time they come out with an update, things get changed, and you go in, they're like. You have to disable certain things to trade it in. And, he said disable Find My iPhone and wipe it clear and all that. And I couldn't find any of that stuff. And he's like, have you only had an iPhone? I'm like, yeah, I just don't know where it is. So I guess I'm just dumb with any smartphone. It didn't even matter if it was Android or iPhone because I've had an iPhone for, let's see, the original came out in 07? 08? I think I've had one since 09. It's almost 10 years of iPhones only. Still have my iMac or my MacBook because I still prefer the Apple computers, but even though the computers in the studio here are Windows, I don't have that much money. As slick and as well produced as this show is, as high budget as it sounds, it ain't. But I don't know. It's pretty great. The biggest adjustment to this new phone is it's about the same size. It's just not the screen size is the same or a little bigger, but the phone itself isn't because the iPhone you have the screen and the phone extends like past the screen on the top and bottom, but this doesn't. But the fingerprint sensor is on the back for the Samsung phone, and that's weird because normally on the iPhone. If you don't have a 10, it's the sensors at the bottom. So I'm used to picking it up and putting my thumb right at the bottom to unlock it. Now you pick it up and put your index finger on the back, and that does it. I know that's like a first world problem thing. It really ruins my day to have to use my index finger on the back to unlock my phone with my fingerprint. Like that's not amazing. So I don't know. I like it. The screen is way better. That's one thing I did notice. The screen, because it's like the same stuff that they use to make the Samsung TVs. So the screen is way better. And I always thought the Retina display on the Apple stuff was good, but this screen's really good. And everything else is fine, you know. Something about the Bluetooth is a little weird because when I listen to Spotify on my car, it's very not staticky. It's just not clear. And I know it's not the car. I know it's not the Bluetooth in the car because the iPhone was playing clearly right the day before I traded it in to get this other one. So I think, I don't know, it's not bad enough to exchange it, but it doesn't sound as clear. It's just kind of crinkly or something. It's just, you know, like when it's when it gets loud, it's almost like it's overmodulated. You know, like when you turn something up way too loud and it kind of crackles, but it's not up, you know, to 11. It's just up like the regular amount. I don't know. It's fine. I went to Avid again this year, so this is a little... I promise this one I'll be... A lot of the shows have been devolving into teacher talk because, you know, nowadays that's all I have. That's my whole life. But the Avid trip, I went last year. I talked about it on the show last summer to San Antonio. This year I was in Dallas, and I don't know, I tell you the same shit again. It's not like I learned anything new. I learned some new stuff, but this year I really had a good table. Last year I had a pretty good table because it's just a big conference, and you sit with people from around the state, from other schools, and listen to the two presenters in whatever strand you're in. That's just the name of the, you know, they have it's Avid. It's you know, best practices for getting kids college ready is all it is. And it's not even anything new. If you're a decent teacher, you've probably done this. If you have had decent teachers, they probably did these things. They just put a brand name on it and charge you thousands of dollars to go sit there and listen to people talk about it. But they give you stuff. They give you books and things to bring back, and it's, you know, some of it's good because sometimes they'll mention an idea that I never thought of, and some of the stuff I did use last year, and some of the stuff they talked about I will try to use this year too. But the table was really good that I sat at, and it was in Dallas. We got to stay at the Hyatt Regency, so it was really nice because some of the other people were telling us where they stayed, and you know, they were staying at like, you know, Motel 6. In Dallas, if you go to DFW, the Metroplex, you want to stay on the Fort Worth side. That's like the nicer side of it. Even though Dallas is, you know, there's rich people live in Dallas too, but Fort Worth is really the, you know, I wish it would have been in Arlington or anything on that side, but it wasn't. But it was fine, and we went to Dallas. And the convention center, yeah, man, I yawned all through the last one, too. So here it is. The San Antonio one, we changed it because we wanted to we didn't want to go to the same one again, but we should have because they always have it at the convention center because there's so many classes, and the convention centers, you know, these big convention centers have so many rooms. That was the one in San Antonio when walking. It's connected to the hotel that we stayed at, and it was just you walked out and around the corner. And there it is. We had to take a shuttle every day because it was like a 15-minute walk, and I don't feel like walking. It's summer, you know. Plus, I probably would have gotten lost. But the other thing, our school district is so weird. When they give you, we got per diem, quote per diem. When I think of per diem, I think of them actually giving you the cash ahead of time. Here's your money for meals. Spend it wisely. If you run out, you run out. We have to fucking keep track. So they give you $8 is the max for breakfast. If you spend over $8, you only get reimbursed up to that. $12 for lunch, $26 for dinner. Not included tax, because, well, we're tax exempt, so we didn't get charged tax. Not including tips, no alcohol. So if you get alcohol, it's got to be on a separate ticket. They don't pay for it. But at the end, like an hour at the end of the conference, you have to sit around and fill out all this paperwork and keep all your receipts. And then they reimburse you. Right? So they don't, you know, which is fine. I mean, I'm glad they reimburse us. What they do, they don't send you like a separate check. They put it in your on your paycheck, so it gets taxed. I'm like, I spent this. It's not income, so you don't even get back all you spent. And sometimes if you spend more, you're not gonna get it all back anyway. So if you spend over $26 for dinner on one night, you're only getting 26 back. But they put it on the paycheck. When we give the kids per diem, when we take the kids on a field trip and it's not overnight. Well, if it's overnight, I've never taken them on kids on a field trip like that. But if they're going out of town and they're going to be gone all day, they get money. And if you leave before 7:30, they get money for breakfast and lunch. If you leave after, just lunch. But you get a check, you go cash it, and then you hand out their money. But with the adults, no. We don't trust you or whatever. I don't know why. But whatever. Guess it's better than nothing. So the trip was fine. I drove this time, and I didn't crash the car. Last year I drove we have district Suburbans, and I drove it to a different event. I volunteered to be a driver to a different event last year in Austin, and there was only parking in a parking garage, and parking garage was packed, and I found a spot at the very bottom, and as I was almost halfway in, I realized it was for a compact car, but I was already in, and I wedged myself again. There's a concrete pillar next to it, and I wedged myself in there. Like, I'd gotten past the mirror and everything. Like, I don't know how I don't know. So I had to go find one of the other teachers that was there, and I was like, man, and I had to walk up. I had to leave it hanging out of this parking space and walk up the levels of the parking garage because there's no signal because I was at the very bottom, so there's like 5 layers of concrete, but and I'm like, you got to help me, like, and he's like, you're stuck. You just got to back out and just, if you rip shit off, that's just, so be it. You got to get out. And it was the worst sign. It really wasn't that bad. It just it looked like I got sideswiped. I thought I was going to rip the side view mirror off and everything to get it out of there, but it was fine. So then I volunteered to drive because I would rather drive than have somebody drive me. I don't know why. Because I thought we always rent cars. And they're like, no, it's going to be the district vehicles. I'm like, oh, man. Is there like a note on there that says I'm not allowed to drive them because I don't know how, because I just wreck them? And I said, as long as I don't have to park in a parking garage, or as long as I read the sign and make sure it's not a compact car space. And they sent an email saying, is each of the drivers, because there's 2 of us, they've been cleared by the risk management department to drive? I'm like, oh, shit. They're going to find my black mark on my driving record for the district and not let me drive. But they didn't seem to care. And also I had to pay for parking. They're going to reimburse me for that too. $57 damn. I get reimbursed. But I'm like, you can't charge that to the room and let the district pay for that. They're paying for it anyway. Next time I'm not driving. It's just a pain to get reimbursed. I mean, it's pain enough to try to get reimbursed for all your meals, but $60 for parking. It's like, what is it was $20 a night. We were there for 3 nights. Anyway. So what else? That's all about me. There's been some social media things. I'm not going to talk about politics at all this time. I'm tired of it. I'm sure you guys are hoping this does not turn into a politically themed show. There's enough of those. But there's this Instagram account. Nothing's sacred anymore. Nothing's private. Nobody has any privacy. Like, it's just going to get worse from here. It's not going to get better. Right? With artificial intelligence, like, technology is just going to keep going. It's going to keep getting better and better. And it's just we're going to have less and less privacy. I'm not like a nut that believes in conspiracy theories, but I mean, it's when humans have power, they will abuse that power. And the thing I'm talking about today isn't even like a new technology. It's just a new way of using an old technology. So this guy on Instagram, Jeff Mermelstein, I guess is how you say it. I guess he's a photographer in New York. He's using his camera, like his professional photographer camera with a crazy zoom, to take pictures of people's text messages as they're texting, like their conversations. Not their, he doesn't have their names or anything, so I guess that's something. But he just posts them. You know, you don't see their faces. You just see their fingers, their thumbs, and their phone, and then their conversation. He zooms in, and you can see their conversation. And people just, like, make comments about what they're talking about. You know, you probably know what your thumbs look like. You may figure out it's you, maybe. But just the idea, like, now I'm like, man, I got to be careful when I text because it could end up on Instagram. I mean, most of my texts are filthy. Everything on my phone is filthy. If anybody ever takes a picture over my shoulder of me browsing on my phone, maybe that's just what I'll do. I'll just look at I always, if I'm in public, I'll for like 5 minutes, I'll look at the worst possible thing I can. Then if anybody's looking, they'll be like, oh, fuck, I don't want to look at that guy's stuff. Then I'll be free to look at, whatever I look at. Cats on YouTube or whatever. I've been watching a lot of YouTube as well. There's these videos of, in one of the episodes with Dustin, I said that there's like videos about chiropractors and you can watch them like crack people's backs, and people are into that. There's a lot of these. There's one guy I like in particular. It's like a haircut vlog. He just goes all over the world to different barbershops, like the coolest ones. Like the real, the shop's really cool looking. The people are eccentric, and he just either has he either gets a shave or a haircut, and they're just interesting. That doesn't sound interesting to watch somebody get a haircut, but it really is. I don't know. Maybe it's the way he shoots it or something. It's creepy though, because he's got a static camera on him, and then there's I don't think it's always the same person. There's somebody else with a handheld that kind of moves around and zooms in and things. One of them, I think, is a girl, and every time most barbershops have a million mirrors, so she tries not to ever get in a mirror shot. But when she is, they blur her face out. It's kind of creepy. It's like, what's that movie where the people's faces are it's not The Ring. Where they're do they take a picture of them and their faces are all blurred or whatever? You know what I'm talking about. It seems like a horror movie. It's like the girl from The Ring, but then her face is blurred. Anyway, I guess I shouldn't be paying. That's not what you're supposed to be paying attention to. But anyway, that's interesting. So yeah, this guy, like, is that weird? Or am I just being too sensitive? Because somebody shared it on Facebook, and I said, so I commented, so just nothing's sacred or so just no privacy anymore, I guess. And people like came back at me. They're like, well, not in public. I'm like, that's not what I mean. I don't mean an individual's right to privacy like in their home or something. But I'm just saying. So I switched. I'm like, okay, my mistake. So just no decency anymore. Like, really? Why do you have to take a picture of people's I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't do that. I mean, unless it's somebody I know and they're talking about me. But come on, that's like a law or something. But I don't know. Maybe I'm of another generation. I just figure. I mean, maybe that's why you need a privacy screen. Those screens, and if at an angle you can't see what you're texting. But be careful out there. Don't be texting weird shit, because people with a telescopic lens on their camera may be taking pictures and putting it on a Instagram page. So they can see you talking about having to go buy pads. The supers. the super absorbent for your heavy days. So be careful, because you may get that Instagram. Let's see. Sticking with, well, all right. I don't want to do this. I'm trying to make it as interesting as I can since it's just me. Well, okay. I'll save that. Oh, all right. So Double Dare's back. So any millennial, I guess I'm a millennial. I was born in 84. I have no idea. But the original Double Dare's back on Nickelodeon. The regular Double Dare. It's just the two contestants. It's not Family Double Dare. A lot of, they bring all this shit back, and it's never as good. This one's pretty good. The host is annoying as fuck, but I think it's because I'm old. Her name is Koshi. Wait, what's her name? She's like an internet superstar, and she won like a Kids' Choice Award. So they picked her because kids love her. She won the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards for best YouTube personality or celebrity. I feel like they're using celebrity very loosely for YouTube people, but whatever. Liza? Is it Liza Koshy? I guess I could look it up. I have these internet machines. Let me just make sure. I think it's Liza Koshy. Liza Koshy. Yeah, she's like 22 and... Oh, she's from Houston. Look at that. She's from Texas. Still... Oh, she went to Lamar High School. Look at that. But still, she's awful. It's just because she's young, I guess. I just don't get. She's just silly and just like she moves weird and she's just not a host. I don't know. I mean, just because you are on YouTube and you're famous, that doesn't always translate. I mean, what was that annoying kid that was on YouTube that had that character, like a little boy character with that weird voice? They gave him like a Nickelodeon show like a few years ago. Does anybody remember? Anybody know what I'm talking about? And that they were like just. It was the same show he did on YouTube, but it just didn't work on cable. I don't know, but you can't criticize anything because people will just say, "Well, what are you doing? Are you on TV?" Well, no, but I can still criticize if I don't like it. I mean, I don't understand. Like people. I don't like it when people criticize really badly and they make fun of their ethnicity and things like that. That has nothing. I'm talking about just her hosting abilities. Some people go way too far and make it dark and you know what I mean. Sometimes the comment section is a cesspool. It's just the hate-filled, I don't know. But people just bother me because they're annoying. But Mark Summers is on the show. He's the announcer, and he's more involved too. Like he comes over, helps explain the physical challenges. Anybody that's never seen Double Dare, no idea. I'm just assuming that only people listening know Double Dare. That was the shit. Like I wanted to be on that goddamn show so bad. But we never could get to Florida. Like once it was in Florida and it was Family Double Dare. I was too young when it was regular Double Dare because that started in like 86. So I was really only aware of it when I became like 5. And that by then, let's see, so it would have been 89, 90. And then I think it went off the air in 93. And then at the end, it became Family Double Dare. But, man, I wanted to be on that show. So it's back. And, like I said, Mark's he's the announcer. It's still way. If anybody saw Double Dare 2000, that shit was awful. That was the worst. This is better than that. The set's a throwback to the original. The clock, the old digital looking like alarm clock numbers. Remember that's how the countdown clock was? That's how it still is, even though it's on like an LCD screen, but still it's even, if I can explain this, like, when the numbers change, but they don't change instantly, they kind of fade out like on the old style, like stopwatches and things, those, the readouts I'm talking about, even that they even made it look like it's still changing, like it's that old style, even though it's on a LCD computer screen now, or LCD TV screen. They also do this weird thing, and see, you can't talk about any of this stuff. Like, I'm not talking about it looking new. It's new. Of course, it's not going to be the same set from the 90s, but the blue floor is there, the tile behind it, the score, their money scoreboard behind each team is the same. So, but it's weird. The kids these kids today, they are all used to being on TV, basically, because everything's recorded and videoed and put on social media. So they act like idiots and douchebags, and they do all these dances and they prepare all this stuff. The kids before, they were like petrified to be on TV, so they just stood there and were like, they just did what they were told. That is an old man thing to say. But when they do the obstacle course, they just kind of like, meh. It's like they get bored halfway through it and get on Snapchat and just say, well, forget this. But they also make them, the old one where you got a flag and when you pass it, you put it in your shirt. They have to like give the flag to the other person, and they have to like hold it and then throw it down on the ground. And I really think that's causing them to not finish. I've only watched a couple. I haven't seen anybody finish it yet. I know it's been on for like 2 straight weeks, I guess. This is the 3rd week, maybe. I don't know. But, I follow them. I like that page on Facebook so I can see updates and stuff. And, there's a lot of people like, oh, if Mark's not hosting, I'm not watching. I'm like, well, he's not hosting. He's the announcer, and he's on it a lot, and he's the executive producer. He doesn't want to host. I don't think he'd be the same guy anymore. But Mark thinks this Liza girl is hilarious. Like, it lists one of her on her, like, on her page, like her Wikipedia or IMDb, she's a comedian. I feel like people just get that title if they just try to be funny. Oh, we'll just say they're a comedian. I don't know. Maybe I'm a comedian. I've said some funny stuff before in my life. I'll just put that on mine. Oh, well. I'm happy it's back. But I wish everything could be exactly the way it always was. But speaking of TV, this is old, and this is something I wanted to talk about when I was planning on doing a show right after the last one. But, Roseanne got fired from her show, but they're going to bring it back without her. The show's going to be called The Connors. Everyone's probably heard this, but this could be a good idea. Just a few weeks after canceling Roseanne, after the show star Roseanne Barr posted racist and bizarre tweets, ABC says it is keeping the show alive without Barr. The Connors is the working title of the rebooted sitcom. It will be a spin-off of Roseanne. Roseanne Barr will have no financial or creative involvement in the new series. ABC and the show's production company, Carsey Warner, have been working behind the scenes to strike a deal ever since Roseanne was canceled May 29th. The talks were tricky because of thorny contracts, some of which were signed many years ago when the original Roseanne television show was on the air. ABC revived the show to great fanfare earlier this year and instantly became the number one new show on the television season. Barr's controversial behavior on Twitter was a constant headache for ABC when she posted a racist comment about Viola. Okay, we all remember that. The swift cancellation stunned the TV industry. They felt they had no, because Disney owns ABC, so they felt like they had no choice but to cut ties with Roseanne. A lot of people lost their jobs. Roseanne co-stars like John Goodman, Laurie Metcalf, and Sarah Gilbert were all interested in keeping the show going in some fashion. In a joint statement, the remaining cast member says, we have received a tremendous amount of support from fans of our show, and it's clear that these characters not only have a place in our hearts, but in the hearts and homes of our audience. I've been watching Home Improvement, actually. I've been kind of in the 90s mood with all this stuff. And Home Improvement's still pretty funny. Some of the shows don't age well, but Home Improvement's still pretty funny. I didn't like his show Last Man Standing, but Home Improvement's still good. Now they'll be back to work soon. ABC ordered 10 episodes of the new show. They'll still be on Tuesdays at 8. And in a statement, Roseanne said she regrets the circumstances that have caused me to be removed from the show. I agreed to the settlement in order that 200 jobs of beloved cast and crew could be saved, and I wish the best for everyone involved. So there you go. Maybe that'll be a good show. I mean, it's everybody but Roseanne. I mean, it's still the same family. I don't know. You think she could just be quiet? I mean, the show is doing great. I don't know. Roseanne's just different now. All right, one more thing and I'll get out of here. Sorry these shows are so short, and maybe you like them shorter this way, but with just me, it's hard to fill up an hour plus. Because normally when I have somebody else here, we get off topic a lot, and that's really the magic of this show. Hold for people to disagree with that. All right, so this there's a part of this area where we live. It's like the butthole of Central Texas, I guess. It's called Belmead. Ugh, it's awful. I mean, there's some nice people that live there, but it's awful. Hang on, I want to get this. There's an article and we're going to talk about here, and I want to make sure I get both parts of this up. I think I'd do some prep before, so I wouldn't have to do this while I'm on air. Come on, now my mouse is not working. Oh wait, I got too many mices. La-da-dee. That's the song Bugs Bunny sings when he's pretending to take a shower with his gloves on. Takes a shower with gloves on. Bugs Bunny, that too. All right. I know you love to hear me scrolling and looking at stuff. Oh, here we go. Okay. That's what I want. All right. So, in this butthole of Central Texas, this guy got arrested on bestiality charges. And that's not even the thing I'm upset the most about. It's people's reaction to this, because they just... I mean, when they said it was in Belmead, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. A Belmead man who ran from police after he allegedly sexually assaulted a neighbor's dog was arrested early Saturday morning on a charge of bestiality. Philip Samuel Mercone, I guess, was arrested shortly before 1:30. A witness told officers he saw Mercone sexually abusing a dog in the neighbor's backyard. Jeez, man, is it a lonely Saturday night or whenever that was? Police found Mercone in the backyard with a dog and let go of the dog when he saw police. He then tried to run from officers, but one officer was able to capture Mercone without incident. The dog, a medium-sized mixed-breed male dog, was given back to its owner in order to provide any care the dog required. He said there was no current reports of any injury to the animal. Sorry. They said he was on the neighbor's property when the incident occurred and was not authorized to be in the yard behind the fencing. In September 2017, Governor Greg Abbott signed into law that makes it illegal for residents of Texas to have sex with animals. Really? Like, that just became a law? It wasn't always illegal to fuck dogs? Or any animals? Man. If convicted, an offender may receive a sentence of up to 2 years in jail for a felony conviction. He was arrested on a state jail felony charge of bestiality and 2 Class A misdemeanor charges of evading arrest on foot and criminal trespassing. He was booked in Clinton County Jail and later released Saturday after posting bond listed $8,000. So that's bad. But if you know Belmead, that sounds about right. But my friend, who's a reporter for our paper, posted this because she always shares her things from the paper. Even, not everything she writes, but just anything. And people are just... they're just awful. I mean, it's, this is a red state, and people, and I'm not even going to, people are just weird. I mean, people are upset at this new, I said I wasn't going to talk about politics. People are upset at this new judge on the Supreme Court. He's really not that bad. I'm pretty left-leaning. I won't say that I am a Democrat, but I'm pretty left-leaning. I don't think it's the worst thing that Trump could nominate. But it's just, everyone's just awful. Both sides are awful. They just want it to be all their way or no way. The Democrats are mad because he's a conservative judge. They just don't want any more. And I understand. I get it. But I mean, what can you do? Why don't you try to hope that it's like a decent person and not, another Scalia? I've read about him. He doesn't seem that bad. So anyways, people always blow things out of proportion. They're like, they'll whatever side, they're registered as or whatever. They make fun of the other side and do all this stuff. But I don't know. It's just so dumb when people, like I said, the comment section can be a cesspool. You can never read the comment section, especially if it's something that you posted. I hate reading I'll watch a video of a cat being adorable, and if it has enough comments, it will devolve. The comment section will devolve into how the Jews are responsible for the Holocaust or some crazy controversial shit. So anyways, on this, she just shared it. That's all she did. She didn't make a personal opinion about any of this. She just shared the article that somebody wrote. So everyone comes in and they're making fun that they're making fun of the LGBT, identifying, the transgender people identifying as something, people, because that's just, you can just identify as anything. People that don't get it or hate it or think it's disgusting, about, they'll just say, well, I'm going to identify as a woman so I can go in the women's bathroom. I'm like, that's not what, you know what I'm saying? They'll do stuff like that. So she had a bunch of comments. She deleted them, but she posted them. But listen, this has nothing to do with any of that. It's just a guy banging a dog. You shouldn't do that. So I'll just read you. So, but he identifies as an attractive female dog. The man. We need to be understanding of these lefties. They're exploring their new world of multiple sexual identities. Come on, douche. Did you really have to write that? How unfair he's being treated. After all, shouldn't he have the right to his sexual preferences? He's gay too, it appears, since the dog was male. So now the LGBT groups will need to help him out too, right? Besides, the dog wanted it and was consented by way of continually sniffing his crotch. Or maybe he identifies as a gay dog. Yeah, that's it. We can't prosecute him because of his gender identity. Just a dick. Just to be just shitty people. That had nothing to do with it. See, people don't, and then people they won't come to the rescue on this and say, why don't you move along around here anyway? But you make a criticism about a TV show and you're crucified. Didn't realize the kid from Deliverance is still alive. Well, that's kind of funny, actually. Maybe he identifies as a female dog. We must be tolerant. Just way to, just miss that whole thing and just be shitty. Just to be shitty. I don't know. Yeah, that's why you don't read the comments. She even said that. She's like, I made the mistake of reading the comments. I'm like, oh. But you should be able to read the comments without stupid shit like that. And some people will say, well, that's what you get. You got to expect that. No. I shouldn't have to expect that. Yeah, it wasn't vulgar. They weren't threatening or anything. They could have written a lot worse than that. Yes, but still, it's just douchey and just, I don't know. Just why even say it? Let's just say this guy, if you want to say something, just say, oh my God, I can't believe this happened, which I can believe. Which you should believe if you know about that place. Anyway. All right, that's good enough. That's about 45 minutes. You guys don't want to hear just me, for an hour, do you? I don't. All right, well, I think that's it. I checked off my laundry list. Yeah, that's it. We can get out of here. Yeah, so I'll try to do another show, even though my exciting life of watching HGTV shows on demand on Hulu. But I swear, like I said in the open, space for entertainment. They also say another one I wanted to quit that needs to be, we need to put a moratorium on is open concept. They say that all the time. I need an open concept. I'm like, can't we just assume that that's just what people want? Gotta have open and the word concept is it's like a weird way to, it's like it doesn't exist. It's a concept. It's like, a theory. I want an open theory. I can only imagine it. I can't show you because it's a theory. I can't prove it. Yeah. Next time I really am going to try to have somebody else and have the rest of the studio set up. I will make room here. Because things are still in boxes. I've just been lazy because it's been summer. I've just been sleeping in and watching Hulu, as one does. Yeah, so that's all I got. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Just me. But we'll catch y'all next time, whenever that is, on the Weekly Yak. See ya.
That was awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Weekly Yak.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
Check us out at weeklyyak.com. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Lighthouses rule.
And subscribe to us on iTunes.
Keep looking up, because that's where it all is.